Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica Piersante. I'm a nail technician with 11 plus years experience. I am currently certified as an advanced nail technician, and I'm currently also working on my medical nail technician. That means that I am currently able to work on clients that have autoimmune disorders or cancer patients and that have any difficulties having their pedicures done somewhere else at a regular salon. And I am here to show you in today's video. I want to demonstrate to you 5 ways to prep your nails so that you can ensure no lifting happens. So this is a very, very important video, especially for those new nail techs out there that are struggling with their clients or with themselves in having product lifting. I know how frustrating that can be, but I am here to show you and to alleviate that problem. I'm telling you, if you follow these 5 steps that I'm about to show you, you are guaranteed to not have lifting. You just have to follow them to the T. So stay tuned and keep on watching. You want 2 things when you are removing product properly. You want a good bit, okay, depending on the product that you're working, you want a good bit, carbide bit or ceramic bit to remove the product. Okay, in this case, I'm using this carbide bit with medium grit because I have hard gel right now. I'll show you guys in a minute. And you also want to set your RPMs to 30 or 35. Step number 1, you want to have the proper product removal. It's very, very important to pay attention to each of the steps as I'm mentioning them to you. And you want to pay attention to the details as you're removing the product. In this case, old product, of course. And you want to make sure that you remove any lifting areas aside from old products. You want to pay attention really, really closely to anything that looks remotely to being lifted or any air bubbles that are in any corners, especially. You want to remove any liftings or any detached old product from the free edge and also the lateral. If you leave any lifted product and you place new product right on top of that, rest assured that your client will be coming back soon after your fresh done manicure. Step number 2, proper cuticle work and cuticle cleanup. That is imperative. After properly removing product, I go in with this frostum diamond bit to start working my cuticles. And this is a new technique that I have acquired. Instead of lifting the cuticles, what I do now is I go in directly with a frostum bit, just like this one, for myself and for my clients as well, because I find that it's just easier and it's less uncomfortable than just having to lift and open up the pockets of the cuticles. Now I go in and pay attention how I go in very, very closely to the proximal fold area. And it's very important to keep the frostum bit parallel to the nail, parallel to that area, that cuticle, that skin area that you're trying to remove. It is critical that you do this. Do not bend inwards the bit, because that's going to cause ring of fire, and we don't want this. This could be very damaging to the matrix of the nail, and it could leave marks, and it could also burn the client. So we want to avoid any of discomfort for our clients. Now I'm going in reverse mode, and I'm going in with the same speed. Usually I go at 14 to 15 RPMs, and I make sure to go at this high speeds because you want to remove the very dry and stuck to the nail plate dead skin that is really rebellious and it's very hard usually. So you want to go in at a very high speed like this. I wouldn't suggest to go in faster than that, because what you're going to end up doing is just burning the client. So 14 to 15 has worked for me so far. Next, after using the frostum diamond bit, we go in with this diamond flame bit with medium grit. And this is specifically a cuticle bit that allows us to go in a little bit deeper. And at this point, our cuticle area or pocket should be already lifted after using the frostum bit. So it's gonna be easier for us when working with this bit right here. And we want to go in several swipes, little by little, very small swipes. Okay, we're going from the middle section there on the nail to our left, going from the midsection to our left, and this is working on forward mode, and I'm working with 8 to 9 RPMs. And what we want to make sure is, I'm showing you guys there that we want to make sure that there's no dead skin right inside, right underneath the proximal fold. Okay, there's a little bit left there as I'm showing you guys, and I am going in and removing that little by little, going on very, very swiftly, removing that extra dead skin. So you want to ensure that there's nothing underneath that proximal fold and that pocket. And now we're going in reverse mode, using this same exact speed and utilizing the same technique as I showed you the first time on the other side, making sure that we have zero dead skin right inside that pocket, because what we want to ensure is by the time that we start polishing, we want to polish right underneath that pocket, and of course not touching the cuticle or that pocket or the skin. And when we polish, we want to make sure that we're not polishing on top of dead skin, because that is another reason why we would have lifting prematurely. So we want to avoid any of that, and to do that, we remove everything that is dust, everything that is dead skin that does not belong there. Okay, so now after ensuring that both sides of the proximal fold or the cuticle area is super clean, this is the last step that I do in each finger. So I lift up the cuticle just like this so that I can prepare for trimming with cuticle scissors. Next, we proceed by cleaning, making sure that we remove all dust from the nail so that we can see very, very well where we're going to be cutting. And we start right there, right in that corner, and we go in very, very small sections. When trimming the cuticles, you want to go in very small sections. This is extremely important to also avoid any damage, any cutting of live skin, and you want to be able to see where you're cutting. And you guys are able to see that this is a very, very clean cut. If I missed anything, I go back in and just remove and trim again whatever I missed. To polish around the perimeter of the nail, these are the 3 bits that I use. All of them are very effective. It really depends on the type of skin for the client. Okay, they're all very efficient. So it really depends on the client's skin. If the client's skin is sensitive, then I use this one because it's a fine grit. If the client's skin is resilient and it's not sensitive at all, then I use any of these 2. With my skin, I am going to use this fine grit ball bit because my skin is not sensitive but is thin. Okay, so what we want to do with this ball bit, we want to go in the same way that we went in with the flame bit, the diamond flame bit, and we're going in very small swipes again from the middle section of the nail, going on towards the left side. Now we are working with 8 to 9 RPMs, and you don't want to stay on the same section too much, because again, we want to avoid any discomfort or any burning sensations. Now the same way, we're going on the reverse side, working on the other side, working in reverse. Step number 3, proper nail cleanup. You want to remove the dust, any lints, any debris that are left on the nails. After you have removed the old product, you have prepped the cuticles by removing the pterygium or dead skin around the cuticles, working with the flame bit, cuticle bit, and then ball bit or the polishing bit, we're gonna go ahead and cleanse the nail. This is a cleanser that I prepared here in my studio. I've been doing this for a while and it's worked perfectly fine. This is just a degreaser. It works just the same. This is 50%, 99% isopropyl alcohol and 100% acetone. So I grab a brush and cleanse the nail underneath and all around. And sometimes, to ensure that I have nothing in the crevices, I grab a lint-free wipe and I go in with the tip of my other nail. I go into the crevices all around, making sure that there is no debris. And sometimes I go underneath. And there you have it. Okay, so after cleansing the nail, we are going to make sure that the nail is dehydrated even more with this Bond-Aid OPI. I've been using this for a while and I make sure not to skip this step. We want to make sure that we apply it on the area of the nail plate, natural nail only. If there's product here, we don't want to, it's not necessary, because what we want to do is we want to degrease or dehydrate the the natural nail plate. Step number 4, choose a good primer. A good primer will never let you down. It'll ensure a proper adhesion from the nail plate to the product. This is my Ride and Die primer. I've always used this primer since forever, since I started doing nails, and it's very efficient. I really like it because it does the job very well. What we want to do is we want to apply it all over the entire natural nail plate and on top of product. And we want to make sure that we go just a little bit, but we want to make sure that it goes the entire nail and not oversaturating. What I do is also make sure I move the nail around, just making sure that everything has been covered. And I let air dry for about probably 10 seconds. And I don't really have to wait 10 seconds because I'm applying it all on all the nails. Plus, as I get to the first one that I applied, it's already been over 10 seconds. Since I am going to be applying this Polygel, okay, or acrygel, same thing, I will be base coating my nails, and this is exactly the way that I do it on my clients, okay? I just grab a little bit of product. That's actually too much. Oops, I have a lint right there. And we go, I'm just removing a little bit because that's too much. And this is the brush that I use whenever I do this step. I always make sure that I'm using the same exact brush. What I do, I pick up the product and I go from the very top, wiggle all the way down the middle, and then go on side, wiggling down, making sure that product is distributed nice and evenly. And then I go all the other side. You just want a very thin coat. Making sure again that you cover the entire nail. Okay, I think we are good. And then we cure this for 60 seconds. Okay, so after curing the base coat for 60 seconds, we want to grab a ball or a pearl of acrygel or polygel, just like so. And this may be too much, by the way, but it's okay if it is too much. We grab it and we place it right around the cuticle area, very close to the cuticle, because I will be doing what's called an infill. Even though this is hard gel on the bottom, it still be called an infill. So we're going to carefully, I am wetting my brush with alcohol. Okay, and this is 99% alcohol. It is recommended to use at least 70% alcohol and above. And we go pushing the product and distributing it like so, and taking it very close to the cuticle area. What I'm doing is I am pushing it close to the cuticle area and then brushing downwards. Wet my brush a little bit more. we want the cuticle area to be very, very flushed. That way we minimize filing. We go from the side of my brush, this side right here, we go and we push and we brush downwards. Okay. The same thing we're going to do on the other side. Since there's a little bit less product here, or we need more product, I am going to push this side over to the other. Wetting my brush a little more. And exactly like so, we want to just brush the remaining product all the way down. And again, we want to make sure that we keep a really beautiful apex. And you guys can see that I'm missing just a little tiny bit of product right there. What I'm going to do is just grab a tiny bit. Not too much, because I don't want to work extra, right? We want to work smart. Okay, that much. We're going to place it right there where it's missing product. Right there. We wet our brush a little bit. Remove the excess. And we go in. We want to make sure that we blend it in with the already applied product. And guys, you don't have to rush in this step. It's really important that you apply the product as nice and even as possible. That way you minimize filing. Okay, we want to work smartly and not have to work double, guys. Remember that time is money, and we want to take as little as possible without sacrificing quality. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. You can see from sideways that is a perfect apex on the other side as well. And we want to have this. It's looking very, very nice. And the cuticle area, let me see if I can get really, really close. It is very flushed. Okay, there's a little tiny bit of gap right there from my nail to the product, or the product to my nail, but it is totally okay. That is totally fine, because when I go in with my nail polish, I can just cover that with my gel polish. Okay, so let's cure it for 60 seconds. And finally, step number 5, you want to have a proper and perfect and precise product application, not touching the cuticle area or the proximal fold area. That is also very, very important. Come and I'll show you. Okay, so before I apply color, I always make sure that I have an orange wood stick with a very, very fine point like that. And if it's not, you can use the other end. You could also file the other end or the other pointy end as well, and just make it nice and pointy. You just want to not stop the client, of course, but you just want to go and have access to the crevices easily. That way you can just remove if you just go over the skin by mistake. And I wanted to show you guys, this is the color that I'll be using from, oops, it's upside down, from the gel bottle. It's called Vintage Wine. It's a beautiful, kind of like a dark pink. It's like a hot pink, but it's not as hot. It's like a rosy hot pink. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys how I pick up my brush. I go around to remove the excess okay, let me do it again. Going around to remove the excess as I am removing the brush from.
And at this point, my battery had died from my microphone, so I will continue doing this explanation as I polish my nail as a voiceover. Now, I was trying to say that I just removed the excess as I am bringing up and taking out the bristles or the brush. And right there you can see I removed the excess from one side of the brush and just leave a little bit of product on the other side. That way I can just swift the color going up, just like you saw right there, and then pushing it up as closely as possible to the cuticle area, and just very slowly going downwards like that, just trying to make sure I don't touch the skin or the actual cuticle itself or the proximal fold. Now, something that I forgot to mention before polishing the nail, it is extremely important that when you're applying the base coat and following after that whatever product else you're going to apply before the gel polish, it is important that you do not apply the product over the cuticle or over the skin, because that is another signal or another red flag for your nail having prematurely lifting. So you want to avoid having any product at all, anything that you apply over the nail. You don't want the product to go over the skin. That's what I'm trying to say. Any artificial product that you use, you do not want it over the skin. That's extremely important. Now I will be going in with this Extreme Shine top coat from the gel bottle. Most of the time I use this top coat. I really like it so much. The majority of times I use this one, but then there are other times where I grab my Coty Professional, which I really like too. I just like it a little bit less just because it's a little bit more runny. So I tend to grab this one more. And again, just like the base coat and whatever other artificial product you place on top of your nail and the gel polish, the top coat is just as important. You want to make sure that you apply it very precisely and right over the entire nail, not touching the cuticle or skin. And here I am showing you guys the precision of the whole entire process, how I applied everything, and everything looks nice and neat and very professional. As always, I do what I call a very smooth file at the end of all product application. I just go in very lightly and without disturbing the final shape. And I do this for definition of the nail and the shape. And here is the final product, a closer look at my application and how precise everything looks and the definition of everything. You guys can see that I did not go over the skin, and for sure I will not have lifting. This nail will not have lifting at all until I do my nails again, pretty much. And there you guys have it. If you follow all these 5 steps that I just showed you in this video, I guarantee you your manicures will last at least 4 weeks, if not longer. So I hope you learned something new today and enjoyed this video, and I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also hit that notification bell so you can get notified for every upload that I do. I try to upload at least once a week, and until my next one, thank you guys. Bye.